to do something a little different. Honestly, today I'll be talking about the game Mother 3. Specifically, the fan translation that I had gotten a hold of. Now, this translation is pretty good, and it does. Well, not really. There is a very big thing that I'll explain later, but as I say, I'll explain that later. First off, what we'll go into, one thing I will not do is talk about story, because all I'll say about the story is that it was okay. Much like the story of Earthbound, it was very bizarre. However, it didn't even... Like Earthbound, its story was held by only a few people as a good story. There's, as said, it was a cult classic. Mother 3 was considered the best story out of them all. It was almost purely driven by story. This game was not really driven by story, I don't think. It really wasn't driven by anything. In this game, the story is very cryptic. It's very hard to glean what's actually happening. There is you don't ever get to know the characters really that well. I think there were lines that attempted to get you to get you to know the characters better, but they just didn't work. And as far as telling you what was going on, you never knew what was going on until the very, very end, basically. Yeah, you basically have to go find out what the story is, and then you know the story after that. That's as far as I'm going with the story. I'm not actually going into actual details of the story itself, simply because spoilers, you get the idea. Alright, so that's that. Graphics wise, it was good for the NES, which is what it was emulated on. That's honestly what I decided to emulate it on, was the NES, and for the NES it was okay. It wasn't that good. Even for the NES it wasn't that good. It was okay. Mainly anything that resulted any kind of graphical glitches, I don't believe I saw any graphical glitches, and if I did, it was purely because of the emulation. Because, like I said, it's a translation. It's a fan translation, obviously. Because they never translated Mother 1. Yeah, it's not the best of the NES, but it's okay. It's okay. The music is pretty good. I do like the music. Actual gameplay, though. Actual gameplay, it's your basic RPG. It's your basic turn-based RPG. There's a few elements that make it kind of fun, but there's a lot of things going against it. The random encounter rate is way too high, and it becomes extremely boring after a while to have to constantly go through fights and after fights. Originally it was just kind of, really fun to see what all kinds of weird enemies you would encounter next, because there are a lot of weird enemies in this, much like the other installments of the series. Yeah, but there is one fatal flaw, really, and that's you're not gonna really see anything but those. Basically, after a while, you're like, look at that. It's like halfway through the game, they were just like, I think we've shown them enough weird enemies. We're just gonna, stop. So that's basically what happened there. They just eventually stopped showing actual creativity in the enemy choices, because, yeah. Now, the actual items, like the baseball bat, and but this goes for all of the Mother games. And if I wind up reviewing, because I'll basically just do a Let's Play of a game and I'll review it after I've done the Let's Play. One thing I would definitely like to point out, in all of the Mother games, the weapons make a difference, but not enough of one to where you notice. It takes the fun out of them and just makes them obligation. Another thing is there's really no variety. Like, realistically, they did try to make it better in Mother 3, but by attempting to make each weapon later on have different things, but the issue is that the newest one was always strongest. That just pretty much always, that's where it always went, and that was the main issue. With me, with that, it was always, well, here's a specialty thing, even though this will totally not matter later. And Mother 1 especially, because, they didn't have any of those special things. Mother 1 and Mother 2, they didn't have any specialty items, so it was pretty much just like, oh, look, it's a department store. We better go in there and go do that. It's not like you feel compelled to, because after a while you realize, oh, there is really you benefit from it, but it's not very fun. You don't have the customization or anything, realistically. That's that. Leveling system, it takes a really long time, usually, to level, and much like Mother 2, you don't get to a point where you feel invulnerable to anything and everything. It just takes too long to level compared to the difficulty of the things. It doesn't give you that much experience for stronger enemies. That's the main thing. Which would be fine if they had something to back it up, but realistically, it's not very fun gameplay. It's turn-based RPG, but in the lowest form. They tried to make different attacks, PSI-wise, but each of the different attacks, it just slowly got stronger and stronger. It's like, okay, you got Alpha, Beta, and then Omega of this thing. And then you start learning this kind of move, and it's stronger. And then you start learning this kind of move, and it's stronger. It's like, they tried to add variety, but they didn't add variety. They made an attempt to add variety, it just completely fell on its face, and just had no way of succeeding. So yeah, that's what happened there. It was just, they tried very hard, but they just ultimately made it to where, here's this thing, stronger, here's this thing, stronger, here's this thing, stronger, here's this thing. They kind of fixed that in Mother 3, where it was like, alright, here's freeze, it does single thing. They actually fixed that in Mother 2, but yeah. They fixed that in Mother 2, where it was like, alright, here's fire, it hits everybody in the front row. Here's freeze, hits one person. Here's thunder, hits people randomly. And that's how that worked for a while. It was a lot more interesting and conveying to choose between your different attacks. In this game, it was just kind of like, PK Thunder, 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 Thunder. However, one thing that I did prefer from this game, as compared to Mother 2, was the way the Jeff character worked. What's this? Gosh darn, I can't remember his name. Lloyd. Lloyd, the way his weapons worked versus Jeff, he had weapons that could be repeatedly used until they broke. Jeff pretty much just had bottle rockets. He never got anything but bottle rockets and stronger kinds of bottle rockets. Things that were one use. In this game, those things were ultimately, better. You could reuse them, which was a really good thing. And that ultimately made it a lot more enjoyable, was to have a weapon that you could use over and over again. So that's what happened on that front. So that's the game. Now, there is one last thing that really kills this game, though. This translation, to be specific. Yeah. Apparently, whoever translated this game decided they were going to be a buttocks. Either that, or they missed something. I don't know. Whoever translated this game was a butt, because they decided, they were like, by the way, we're just not going to let you finish this game. Yeah, that ruins the game, and I really don't think this translation is not worth your time to seek out. It doesn't have a really good story. It doesn't really have the best. It doesn't have good gameplay. Actually, it's pretty cruddy gameplay, and I guess it has okay music, and that's about it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review, as it were, of Mother 1. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Brrr. Wait, hold on. Wait. Whoa. I need one more thing. I forgot to mention, if you basically turn the throttle, you don't have to turn the throttle up very high, but I do suggest doing it if you're going to do this. If you do seriously want to play this game, I highly suggest you use this exploit. For some reason, if you talk repeatedly on every square, and then walk one square, and then you talk again. See, the only reason I ran into someone is because I happened to let off the switch, as you can see. But if you just hold it down, see, now nothing can attack me. This is just a little thing. Basically, if you continually use the "who are you talking to" button, if you use the talk command over and over again, it won't let you run into anybody. But if you just walk around, you'll get caught. Thought it was interesting to bring up. Anyways, continue on.